Yeah, we got, I guess we got kind of lucky today. We got more rain than snow. Yeah, that's good. Okay, hey, riddle of the day. Riddle me this. Why did Santa Claus only give gifts to the letter E? Yeah, why did Santa Claus only give gifts to the letter E? Well, because the rest of them were naughty. Yeah, all right. Hey, welcome to Season 6. I'm not going to credit anybody with that. Season 6, Episode 24. Actually, our final episode of 2025. This is a landmark day here of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. We are brought to you by Grantham Home Hardware, supported by Niagara Parks Commission, Vera Wellness, Ace Alignment, Mac Outpost, as well as Verge Insurance. Sorry, Verge. It just... We are produced by WeeStream. We are ensconced here at the lovely Fiddler's Whorehouse at 149 St. Paul Street in St. Catharines. We're going to get out of the rain. Come on in here. So, a lot of things going on. I was going to say there's a lot of things going on this week. There are always a lot of things going on. One of the big stories is a massive fire in downtown St. Catharines. An ages-old building had been empty for a while, but it is known as the longtime home of the St. Catharines Standard newspaper. Yeah, talk about a historical landmark. There have been a few of those disappear for various and sundry reasons, and a couple of them by fire here in Niagara. Fire Chief of St. Catharines is going to be joining us. We're going to talk about that fire over on Queen Street. I mean, it's still closed down through a lot of the area down there. So we're going to talk about that. Quite a disturbing story about assault and sexual abuse. And there's a trial going on right now. Anyway, we'll get into that a little bit more too here in Niagara. And we have remember the scow that's in the Upper Rapids in the Niagara River? Fabulous drone video coming up for you in just about 30 seconds. Stay with us. Hey, how you doing? Just getting ourselves all wired in for sound and video, and this multi-million-dollar production is underway. Welcome to December the 10th already, and as I mentioned out in the office there, this is going to be our final show of 2025. We would have normally been scheduled, because we do this every couple of weeks, we have normally been scheduled to do December the 24th. Well, people have families and things to do and places to be, so we decided that we would forego that and then flash forward to the next couple Wednesday. It would be December 31st. Well, that's New Year's Eve, and people have a lot of things going on. So what we're going to do is our first show of Year of Our Lord 2026. I don't know why I did that. First show of 2026 is going to be January the 1st. Will Kevin and I be a little bit hungover? I don't know, maybe a little bit, but we're getting a little long in the tooth to do all that heavy.
Don't drag me into this, Lee.
I'm dragging you into this. You're part of this whole process.
You make your own decisions.
If it weren't for you, I'd be sleeping in on January.
I don't want people to give the impression that you and I are ringing in the new year together.
Well, why would we do that? We spent all this time together over the course of the year. Why would we do that? Anyway, yeah, our first show of 2026, and we look forward to it. It'll be a bit of a retrospect of 2025, and we'll be here from Fiddler's Whorehouse on New Year's Day, January 1st at noon, 2026. So that'll be our next show, and it'll be Season 7, Episode 1. All right, what we're going to do right now, though, is ask you to work with us on this. Just partner with us on this little process that we go through every week. While we're streaming this on Niagara 411. Hi, Nick, by the way, and Nick's mom. Merry Christmas. We would love you to hit that little circly arrow there and refresh the Niagara 411 page on which we are streaming this. And then you'll see the show actually. There we are, as if by magic. Then you go down, you hit this little share button, the little arrow that does it, okay? Share. And then you don't have to say anything. You can if you want. You say, boy, Kevin and Lee, you just are fabulously attractive and wonderful human beings. Say something like that. And then you hit share now, and that would really help, because it helps us connect you with your fellow Niagarans. All right? Now, I mentioned also, let me just talk about the show, for example. We have Fire Chief Dave Upper coming on the program today because of that massive fire in downtown St. Catharines on Queen Street, the old Standard building. That's what we call it. The St. Catharines Standard newspaper operated out of there for many, many years. Massive fire. So we're going to be chatting about that. Also, Maureen Sawicki is going to be joining us. She has started a GoFundMe page for victims of Todd Williston. You might be aware of that story. He has been charged, Niagara man has been charged with many counts of the sexual assault and other things as well. The charges are too numerous actually to mention here, nor if I could remember them. But Maureen has started a GoFundMe page for the family of the victims, or some of the victims of this person. So we're going to be chatting with her. Sakib Maminkin is going to be joining us. He had a kind of a cool bridge website development for the bridges in Niagara. It's really kind of neat. And Matt of St. Catharines is going to be talking about his missing sister, Dakota. That's coming up, all that stuff coming up on the program here. Now, I mentioned also this incredible footage of the drone that took a view of Niagara Falls, the Upper Rapids, and here it is. Let's just watch this. We're all familiar with the scow that has been 120 years or something like that. What was it? What year was it, Kevin? 1902 or something like that?
Yeah, 19 something.
Yeah. And this was one of the rescues that the Hill family became so famous for over the years. The Hill family in Niagara Falls, the river rats, as they used to be called, the river men that engaged in so many rescues and amazing adventures. One of them, even Red Hill, tried to go over Niagara Falls in a barrel. Like the Hill family is connected with the river in so many ways. But and they became famous for the rescue initiative of the people that were in this scow when it cut loose from its guide boat and wrecked up here in the rocks on the Upper Rapids in the Niagara River, just near the brink of Niagara Falls. And over the years, it's been disintegrated. There'd be little pieces break off here and there, and people would wear binoculars and things like that to try to get. But this is the best view recently that any of us have ever had. And it's been a story this week because the bow of the scow broke loose. And we expect one day sections or all of it is going to just plummet over the falls, and that'll be the end of the story for the scow. But that's what's left. Is that not incredible drone footage? I mean, like I've often said, things can be used for good or evil, and drones the same. They're sometimes a nuisance, but boy, in this case, that is the closest any of us have ever actually seen of what's left of the scow. It's just a hollowed out piece of the hull that's left, but holy cow.
Yeah, I've never seen this before, though.
Oh, I've never seen anything that close, Kevin.
It looks pretty vivid. All those shots from the shore kind of bore me, to be honest.
I know, and I've been looking at that thing since I could see. pretty much, since I was just a little kid, looking at this thing from afar, and you could kind of see it sitting out there, but not really get any perspective of what it really looked like. But look at that.
So that's the main section that I think
Yeah.
where he's flying to now. This is the bow that
That's
broke off.
That's what broke off. I think. Yeah.
I think so, yeah, and that was about 3 weeks ago. Wow, it's cool to
Look
see
at
this
that.
vantage. The mist coming out from over the drop.
And you see, this is what it would look like if, unfortunately, you had a boat that had lost power or whatever, and you're drifting with the rapids and with the tide. That's what it would look like.
Oh, come on. I hope this guy brings me over the edge.
Yeah, take us to the edge.
Like, come on, pal. So this is just some, I don't want to say anonymous, but, it's some YouTube account, Blizz Track or something like that.
I would love to give credit to whoever it is that was doing this.
Wow, we really do live in a beautiful spot.
Look at that. That is a view that...
That's the power station, which is now the tunnel, right? Which is,
well, yeah, that's the museum now where you've got Nikola Tesla stuff inside.
I think so. Is that it, or is that further down? No, that's the one. Yeah, that's the Nikola Tesla one.
Yeah.
Well, because they're revamping the other one into a boutique hotel, right? That's a little further down.
Exactly. Wow. That's spectacular. For someone that was always fascinated my entire life, even though I lived for many, many years outside Niagara and lived all over the country, I always get drawn back to that spot. As a young man, if I had things to think about or things to ponder or plan or whatever, I would often drive down to that area, and I'd sit on the cement pylon on the fence overlooking the upper rapids, and I would just sit there and look and feel small, because there's nothing that makes a human being feel smaller or more insignificant than Mother Nature in all of its crazy forms. And that was the most powerful place I could ever think of, to just sit and ponder life, if you will. I used to do that from time to time, and that sky was sitting out there all those years. But I have never seen a shot like that.
Now, Lee, let me hit you with another
Ever.
drone shot, and this one hits a little closer to home.
Yes, that is the unbelievable scene, one of the many unbelievable scenes that came. There were a lot of shots that came through Niagara 411, as a matter of fact, and thank you to all those people that forwarded shots and videos and pictures of the St. Catharines Standard building, which is what we'll call it, but it hasn't been the St. Catharines Standard building for a long, long time. It was there for years, and it's been empty for years. Fire Chief Dave Upper is joining us here. Dave, welcome back to the program. How you doing today? Been an exciting week for you guys.
Yeah, it's been a full week for sure.
Yeah. So fill us in on, walk us through the chronology of this fire from alarms and notifications and length of fighting and your guys and gals that were involved, et cetera. Walk us through what went on here.
Yeah, no, that's great. About 10 to 11 on Friday night, we received a call into our dispatch center about a working fire in, as we said, the Standard building, because we remember,
Yeah.
the newspaper and the Standard, and I mean, we still get it today. Crews, of course, leaving headquarters were there shortly thereafter and confirmed working fire in the upper floors of the office section on Queen Street. It was where we saw, the initial fire. They made entry into the building to begin what we call interior attack. Once they had reached the second floor, I spoke with the officer, and he said, he had a peek out on the second floor to see if any fire was there. There was nothing there. When he looked up into the third floor, he could see directly into the third floor because there were sections of the floor that were burnt away. Mm-hmm. So there was already big holes in the floor, so to speak. Okay. When the crew went up to the third floor to have a look, they opened the door, of course, that was the fire floor, and they were greeted with a significant amount of smoke and fire. He relayed the message of the holes in the floor to the incident commander, and for us, that's a no-go situation, and so the crew was ordered to pull back, and we were beginning to set up for defensive operations on the exterior. Now,
Sure.
From the vantage point of the officer on the inside, I mean, he can, of course, see, and I know you were just talking about the drone footage, what things look like above.
Yeah.
So as the other crews that we have, so we have the ladder truck crew. So the ladder truck crew setting up, they get up in the bucket, and from there they gave us a roof report and where there was significant fire in the roof, but also the fire had extended to the middle section of the building, which is where the old print shop was. So
Right.
the fire, was on the Queen Street side of it, and then of course from the vantage point from the sky, they could see that that fire also had extended into the center portion of the building, so to speak, where the print shop was.
Okay.
So at that point, we're setting up, we're getting our hydrant, high volume supply lines laid, and we're setting up for defensive operations with the ladder trucks. The incident commander brought in the two other ladder trucks that we have so that we could basically corner the building, so to speak, on each corner and try to knock this thing down as quick as we can. Unfortunately, several hours later of trying to gain, and it's so hard when you're on the outside, right?
Sure.
To get to the seat of the fire. We lost the roof, not to the entire building, but a large section of roof collapsed in from the fire damage, right? And then that's when the real challenge starts, because now you've got the seat of the fire buried between the
Yeah.
fire floors and the roof.
Yeah.
So while that was going on, we called in additional staff because we knew we were going to be committed there for, the next 48 hours, so to speak. So crews did a great job. They were fighting the fire. And at 3:15 in the morning, second call came in for a fire at 437 Welland Avenue, which was a medical building. So then we had our staff that were on duty plus off-duty staff responded to the Welland Avenue fire. So we were fighting two significant fires at the same time.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a busy night. But you know what is incredible? Like, just to see the men and women of our service, and we train for this, right?
Of course.
And you don't want it to happen in your community, but incredibly grateful to be part of such an amazing team, to see them rise to the occasion and see like the amazing work that they had done at both sites. People coming in off staff and doing the work they did. So back to Queen Street, we battled that through till the morning. So, and I've been asked questions too, like, we said we had the fire under control, but the fire wasn't out. So, what we're looking at is, do we have the fire contained, so to speak? We know where the fire is. We've got it cut off. We've got it surrounded, so to speak. We just can't get it out because we can't get to the seat of the fire. And then that's when we start working with the property managers and the owners to say, okay, listen, in order for us to get this fire out, we're going to have to bring in some heavy equipment, which means, we're going to obviously be tearing this building down.
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
So Saturday morning, we started working with the property manager. They've been great. We floated in some equipment from one of the environmental companies, and then we started pulling the building apart. And while they were pulling the sections apart, we were applying douse water to the hot spots, we call them. And this went on for most of the day till dark. At dark, we suspend operations. We have the suppression crews basically in a holding pattern to make sure the fire doesn't progress anywhere. We set up security and some fencing, of course, to maintain the site and to keep everybody safe in our community. And it's just interesting because in talking with the incident commander, I got up early Sunday morning and speaking with the incident commander, they said, yes, we've had a good night. We haven't seen any more fire, so I think we're in a good spot. I arrive early Sunday morning, and I just kind of shake my head because before you know it, it's burned through, and we've got, open flame. I mean, again, we've got it contained, but there's open flame Sunday morning.
Sure, yeah. Okay.
So we spent a better part of the day Sunday just continuing those overhaul operations where we're pulling sections and pieces of the building out and just keep throwing douse water on them to make sure that they're out. So I would say, we had the fire under control, of course, on Saturday, but we didn't call what we call a loss stopped until probably Sunday in the afternoon.
Yeah, right. Because, I mean, when you say under control, that means that you do have control of what's happening because it's not going to spread to other buildings or other properties or anything like that.
Yes.
There's no further threat to other property other than the one that you're engaged in. But the thing is that you're always struggling with is you got to make sure that everything's out, because things can smolder for a long time. I remember there was also a story very recently about one of the Toronto fire departments that were battling a blaze between a couple of apartment buildings that and it was smoldering in insulation, etc., that they just couldn't get to, and things can reignite. So this while you've got something contained, it doesn't mean you're done your job. I mean, there's more
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I was speaking with Toronto Fire Chief Jim Jessup. We spoke during that event, and he was just saying how frustrated he was. You know, we pride ourselves in trying to get these fires out as efficiently as quickly as possible, and trying to have the recovery component of the building, but then also getting the community back to kind of its normal routine, so to speak.
Sure.
And he was just expressing his frustration that, Toronto, of course, has the most high rises in the country, and they have an incredible, again, like their high rise program is world renowned. And so they've got some of the best people in the world fighting their high rise fires. And he said, and I can't get this thing out. It's making me crazy.
Right. I remember him saying, Chief Jessup saying that it was the most challenging fire treatment in his entire career, and that's saying something for a municipality like that. So you guys have to make sure that you've got every little ember accounted for before you just walk away and leave it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what happens next now with this site on Queen Street? Where are we at this point, and where do we go from here?
So where we are now is the owner and the property manager met with our building and bylaw folks. They're getting a demolition permit, and then we need an engineer's report. And this is where we're working with the engineers to get a report done. My concern is, and I'm not an engineer, so not that my word doesn't count, but you need somebody who's certified. My concern is the front wall of the Queen Street side building. In my experience, I want that down because, we've had fire damage to it. You have the collapsed roof leaning up against it.
Well, it's a hazard.
You've got correct. And also, like we've had to break the windows, and we haven't been able, like typically, as I was saying to Karina Walters from the Standard, normally we clear a window. We have a Halligan tool, which is a big steel bar, and we try to clear the windows so that there's no shards of glass, which we were not able to do. So we have all this debris, bricks, glass, debris that's all on this front wall. And, you really don't want to see any but member of our community get hurt by something either getting blown out or
falling down.
Or correct. Or that wall coming down and, tragically worse, right? Yeah. Losing a member of our community to a collapse. So we've got Queen Street closed. We're working hard to get that open as soon as we can. We're getting, an engineer's report to tell us, that, either the wall is safe and we can open the street up, or we got to get that wall down and we'll get the heavy equipment moving again. So,
Chief, where does the line of responsibility come to an end for your department? You're doing what you're doing right now, and you're making sure you're doing the due diligence from a public safety perspective, which is right. the main mandate of what our fire departments are supposed to do. At what point does the responsibility of the fire department end and other agencies and municipalities, the city council or whatever, take over? Where do you stop and then somebody else starts?
Right. Yeah, I think every municipality and every fire chief kind of do things different, I suppose. I guess at this point in time, arguably, I could pass this off to the building and planning folks and say, listen, this is, your baby now, and so right. You deal with it. Yeah. I feel like, and I know I've got support from the senior staff and the mayor and the CAO, like we kind of work collaboratively and we continue on because it was due to a fire and we want to make sure that our community is safe. And so for me, the fire has created a safety hazard. So until that wall is either, I'm told by an engineer that the wall is, safe and it's fine, or we bring that down, I'll probably stay, involved in collaborating with our building department till we get that piece sorted out.
Oh, good for you. Before we let you go, Dave, something happened to me, not to me, but around me. I experienced something personally with regard to our fire service in St. Catharines over this past week, and I wanted to ask you a question about this.
Sure.
I live on a pretty quiet, mundane, where nothing ever happens street in a circle in north end of St. Catharines. I mean,
Right.
nothing, thank God, happens there.
Right.
We're a pretty boring, nice little community. So,
Perfect.
but a few days ago, the sirens are getting closer and closer and closer, and a massive fire truck, comes. And we live not far from the brand new station that was built on Linwell Road as well. We're kind of in that neighborhood.
Right.
And
Nice.
so, yeah, it is nice. Beautiful new building, by the way. You guys did a great job. So this massive truck comes down my little street, along with the fire marshal's vehicle behind it. I don't know whether you or somebody else was in it. I don't know.
Yeah. Probably the platoon chief.
Yeah. Hey?
Most likely the platoon chief.
There you go.
In our expedition.
So,
Yeah.
and then, this massive truck comes down our little street, goes around the circle, and stops in front of one of our neighbors' houses, where I don't see anything going on. Two more trucks come up along the side street connecting to it. They don't come down the street because there isn't any room now.
Right.
But it was like a multi-alarm that went out. And the guys in their gear walking around the house and they're looking and all the rest of it, nothing happened. And but they did their due diligence in walking around and then got in. I gave them a salute, so thank you very much, and off they go. Nothing. So I'm
Right.
thinking false alarm. What happens in the case of false alarms? Because you just talked about two massive fires in one day. You got the Standard building, you got the building that was engulfed on Welland Avenue at the same time. So you got your men and women engaged fully in important incidents, and then there's something like what happened on my street, where nothing is happening. How does that happen?
Well, what we do is we build what we call them run cards. And so we look at the different types of calls that we respond to for emergency response. Mm-hmm. And then we look at the required resource allocation, right? So it sounds like your neighborhood, you had a residential false alarm. Mm-hmm. And so with that, our run card is you get the platoon chief, you get 2 pumps, and a ladder truck. And in the event we arrive and you have a working fire, then we'll send additional equipment. But for a remote alarm, that's what we send.
Okay, so that's what we saw. We saw 2 pumps and a ladder truck.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that will be your response for a residential remote alarm.
Right.
We're always looking for ways to improve, and so it's interesting that you bring this up because we are looking at the number of remote alarms we go to, and the number of times that they're false, mm-hmm. and the number of times that we're required to take an action. And so I know in 26 we're working with our association, and we're just looking at the risk management piece of it to say, hey, like to your point, maybe we need to review, because this is legacy. This, we've been doing the same thing for decades, right? So maybe it's time to look at it and say, hey, maybe we don't need all of that equipment to go. And that way it frees up some of our equipment. If, and it happens, it's Murphy's Law. You get calls that go back to back or at the same time, always, right?
Kevin, you had wanted to weigh in here?
Yeah, just before we let you go, Chief. I don't want to call it ironic. I don't know what it is because I know $1 million in damage there to the Leva Center fire on Welland Avenue. You were with us just a couple of months ago, Fire Prevention Week, talking about the real dangers of lithium-ion batteries, and that in fact was the cause of the fire. Can you talk a little bit about the cause of that fire and what we can do? Just reiterate kind of lithium-ion batteries. I mean, what's going on with these things?
Yeah, it's funny because you're exactly right. I was here a couple of months ago. We're having this conversation. We're coming into Christmas season, and unattended cooking is for sure our number one, but lithium-ion batteries is just racing hard to beat it. So, post-fire, of course, we bring in our investigations team, and they discovered that the fire was due to a malfunction of a lithium-ion battery. From my notes from the investigation, it doesn't look like there was any neglect or malice that was done by the person who was using the lithium-ion battery. It was plugged in a charger, and it looked like it just went into thermal runaway and caused the fire. And that happens, right? So with regards to lithium-ion battery safety, and I can't speak to, I don't know if the battery was dropped and there was any, physical damage that I couldn't see, but in my notes, all I have is that it was caused by a lithium-ion battery.
Interesting.
So,
Yeah.
I don't have, and I haven't talked to the investigator. It's been a bit of a crazy week.
Yeah,
So,
I'll bet.
yeah, and I haven't had a chance to kind of dig in on this. So I don't know, from the sounds of it. Usually when things are amiss, those are in the notes.
Right.
So there wasn't really anything descriptive that, was really significantly, out of bounds.
One more quick
but
question. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. But with regards to going back to lithium-ion battery safety, and we talked about this a couple of months, just, follow manufacturer directions. If you're going to use replacement batteries, make sure that they're approved by the manufacturer. Use them in the proper charging devices that normally are provided. Make sure you charge them on hard surfaces, not soft surfaces. So
Right.
just good safety practices like that. So sorry, Lee, to cut you off there.
No, that's fine. No, your message is more important than mine. So thanks, Fire Chief Dave Upper, for coming on and spending this time with us. I'm sure your department is probably frustrated as well by those false alarms when you've got all these people and all this personnel and all this equipment that are called out especially when something that is legitimate could be waiting in the wings that these people need to pay attention to, and it's tax dollars money, and it's budget equipment and stuff. And I hope at some point in time we discover how false alarms happen. Maybe that's a conversation for another time to get to the root of that. But thanks for being here. Appreciate, as always, the effort of your crew and yourself, and we appreciate your time for doing this today.
Yeah, thanks so much, Lee. And just so you know, our crews do not get frustrated going to the remote alarms, because we do have them where we go and we're needed. So, it's one of those things that we know that's part of our responsibility, and
job.
so we're happy to do it, and it's an honor to serve in our community, and our team is very proud to do that. So, thanks so much for having me here today.
Anytime.
Really appreciate the opportunity to sit with you this afternoon, and enjoy the day. Be safe.
Yeah, you too. Fire Chief Dave Upper, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Okay, Kevin, I want to quickly run down our sponsors, and then we'll move on with our next guest on the program. Grantham Home Hardware. Thanks, guys, for everything you do. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian. Jake and Rob, the head honchos at Grantham Home Hardware, but the entire staff is just super. We appreciate their continued support as the lead sponsor of this program. Niagara Parks Commission, we just saw some amazing drone coverage of one of the areas that the Niagara Parks Commission is responsible for. We got Festival of Lights on right now. Don't miss that while the holiday season is there. It's just unbelievable. Also, make sure you take advantage of Niagara Takes Flight, the new attraction that is available. Vera Wellness, when life feels heavy, Vera Wellness helps you find your way back to yourself, specializing in trauma-focused therapy to help you get unstuck. Mika Matthews and her crew. Ace Alignment, for everything that ails or might ail your vehicle. They are the ones to go to. Matt and Darren over on North Street, just behind the police station off Geneva Street. Thank you for your continued support. Verge Insurance Group, they've got their pickleball tournament coming up in January. We're going to be telling you more about as well. Life, home, auto, for whatever insurance needs you have. Verge Insurance Group here in St. Catharines over on Ontario Street. And Mac Outpost, for everything Apple in Niagara, your source for everything Apple in the Westlake Plaza 353 Lake Street, St. Catharines. One of the more disturbing stories, and I want to start by giving you this disclaimer that some of the information involved in this story is quite disturbing. But to just lay a bit of the groundwork, the headline was Niagara Falls man charged for historic sexual assaults. Police look for more victims. Police say, this was the headline that was out a few days ago in the CBC. Police say 2 victims under the age of 16 sexually assaulted between 96 and 2006, and there were other victims as well. A school bus driver and karate instructor in Niagara Falls faces multiple charges after police allege he sexually assaulted 2 boys. His name is Todd Williston, 52 years old, arrested and charged on December the 19th. So, following up on that, there was a post on social media and came up through Niagara 411 from Maureen Sawicki. The post says, "Hi, my name is Maureen and I'm fundraising for my friend who is subject to a publication ban due to the fact that her family represents over 20 of this man's 81 sexual assault charges. Yes, sadly, her family has been victimized repeatedly and can't even raise money on their own because of the privacy issues of the minors involved." Kind of a double-edged sword here. The mother is in and out of hospital due to the stress and can't even go to her church to ask for meal help because of the privacy issues. The police will not allow her to talk publicly about this. Due to this case, the family has had to move into a new anonymous rental, which has caused the children to be uprooted from their school and their friends. Money raised will go to therapy and to some settling in costs. The government only allows therapy up to a cap of $1,500 per person, so they're now paying out of pocket for this very necessary therapy for the entire family, etc. So Maureen Sawicki is joining us on the program right now. The words that I was uttering just now are Maureen's words from her post, and we welcome her to the program. Hi, Maureen. How you doing today?
Hey, Maureen, you are muted. I can see there. Sorry, no way other to warn you than let you know here live on the air that you're muted. Don't worry, you're not the first, not the last. Oh, you're still muted there, Maureen.
There we go. Sorry about that.
Hey, that's all
Hello.
right. It happens a lot. We'll welcome you once again to the show. Hi, Maureen.
Thank you very much.
So I realize there are some things we can't talk about today because of this, as you referred to it, the publication ban, and it's a ticklish issue when it comes to mentioning information that might identify minors and their identity and stuff. So it's kind of a thin line we walk. But can you please elaborate just a little bit on why we're here, what you're doing, and how we can help?
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. This family, I've known them for years, and this family, as you had already outlined from the GoFundMe, they have just been victimized for many years. The mother actually spearheaded the entire case against Todd Williston. She thought something was wrong. She went to the police. The police said, "Okay, we'll interview one of your kids." That interview, the child lied. The child was very, very frightened, obviously. Mm-hmm. The mother persisted, and when the police did arrest him, Todd Williston, they found a mountain of evidence. Mm-hmm. Like Paul Bernardo, he liked to video a lot of his assaults. So it's quite horrific, and the family now, they've just been in disarray for quite a while. They had to move from their home. There was a whole big rent issue because Todd was actually renting their basement, hence the connection.
Oh, okay.
Yes. So this has uprooted everything.
So that's where the access obviously came from to these.
Yes.
To these
Yeah.
victims. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Now, why were they forced to move? They couldn't afford it?
They couldn't afford it. Since Todd has been jailed since November, he wasn't paying his share of the rent, so the back rent just started going up like crazy. So they were in arrears, and then the landlord just decided that the way to solve that problem, because he couldn't get money from Todd and it was all a big legal issue, was to put a for sale sign up at the house and boot them out.
Okay.
which might be a good thing for them in the long run. Obviously, in the short run, it was yet another shock to their lives.
Yeah. But, and as you say, in the long run, it might be better because they're out of that environment. They can build new memories and new lives.
And should he ever get out of jail, God forbid, he does not know where they are.
Right. So, as per your post that I was referencing, at least 20 of the charges out of the 81 were related to this family. And as I also understand, the mom has been going through, as one might understand, totally, some pretty tough emotional times trying to sort through this horrendous experience. So how's she doing? I know we can't identify her, but how is she okay? Is she doing all right?
She's remarkably resistant and strong. But this, I can't even imagine how difficult this is. Plus the betrayal. She had a relationship with Todd, not a sexual relationship,
right.
but
they were friends.
They were friends. She trusted him. So the amount of betrayal for a mama bear, which she totally is.
Yeah.
When something like that happens in your own home, I mean, it's inconceivable.
How many
honestly.
children does she have, Maureen? If I can ask you that question.
I think we can say 5.
5?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the other element to this, the reason this GoFundMe thing is so pivotal, is that there is new legislation in place, or as I understand it's relatively new, legislation in place that puts a cap on therapy funding from the government of $1,500. Is this per victim?
Per victim per year is my understanding, although I might be wrong.
Okay. But that sounds to me, with the scope of this story, like a drop in the bucket.
Oh, absolutely yes. I mean, anyone who's ever had therapy, I don't know what a typical session would cost, probably about $200-ish.
Right.
So you can barely get started, especially if you're going once a week. I mean, there's zero chance of going twice a week, isn't there? Your money is going to run out.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
so we not only have Mama Bear, we have the cubs as well.
Yes, absolutely.
That need all of this support. Hence,
and honestly, they need the support so much. I mean, not just to recover, to understand what's happened, to try and recover from it, but facts show that the victims turn into perpetrators if they don't get this therapy.
Well, that's something I hadn't gone there mentally, but yeah, that's a pretty proven statistic that abusers,
it really is.
Those abused can become abusers, and it becomes a self-perpetuating theme as time goes by, which is so we need to do our best to nip this in the bud, as the old cliche goes. I hate cliches, but that's the one that applies.
Yeah.
Now, they've relocated. Have the children had to change schools and go through all of this stuff as well?
Yes, they did. That means that their friends have been left behind because, they're at an age where you go and play at someone's home after school, that sort of thing. So, yeah, Mama Bear was trying desperately not to move the cubs. But when the for sale sign came up, there was no choice in that matter.
Okay, so the GoFundMe, where do we find them? Give us the details of that, what we need, and how much you're looking for, and just give us the details on that part of the story.
Oh, darn! I don't have that prepared. I was hoping you'd have that at the bottom of the screen.
Well, I think we probably can, Maureen, because Kevin just put stuff up right now, and there is a post right there, and it is the GoFundMe page is up. So we just took you off the hot seat for that one.
Excellent.
It's on the
but
screen.
if you don't, after this is over, if you don't have access to the link anymore, just go on to GoFundMe and look up Todd Williston, and it will say help fund help the victims of Todd Williston.
Well, there we go. You just told us everything we need to know.
Maureen,
Okay.
one question here before we kind of wrap this up. The court process, it just re-victimizes the children. And it seems that the process leans more towards protecting Todd than it does protecting the victims as it gets dragged out and drawn on. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Again, this is a very fine line, but I can speak vaguely to it for sure. It's with the mountain of evidence that they have on him, they still have to go through all these procedures. And it does seem to protect him a whole lot more than it protects the victims. And if you can imagine yourself being a victim, sitting in court, which may or may not be your choice. It may or may not be your choice to be there. Maybe you went voluntarily because, you're a little wrapped up in this.
Yeah.
But can you just imagine for a second a lawyer saying, well, I mean, this bear cub was 12 years old at the time it happened. There has to be some responsibility on the bear cub, because victim blaming is how our courts work. We know that from women's sexual assault cases and why they're seldom taken to court. So the amount of trauma heaped on that trauma, it's despicable.
What is the current status of this case right now? I know these charges are fairly recent, but what's the chronology of what happens next? Where are we with that?
I don't think I know enough about that to answer that. And I know there are frequent appearances.
Right.
And I do not believe that a plea has been received yet.
Okay. All right. So as we know, the wheels of justice and the jurisprudence system tend to move fairly slowly.
Well, and honestly, it is a huge case. It's hundreds and hundreds of hours of videotapes.
Well, as we've talked about with other people in other circumstances, as well as the fact that this is an issue, sexual abuse, abuse of minors, domestic abuse. This is a big topic. It's a hot button issue politically, and in the justice system as well. To not only be able to prosecute and investigate these people, but also the concept of what the sentences are, how those sentences are applied, how long they are, paroles, and all of those other things that come into play in something like this. It's such a big issue. I think this could be one of those cases that is part and parcel of something that significantly changes how our society functions. And I don't want to put too fine a point on it, but it could be that big.
It's a huge case for sure.
Maureen,
it's horrific.
Thank you for your effort. I'm sure the family appreciates you more than you have any idea, and thank you for being here today. I realize there's a lot more we could talk about, but we can't talk about it. And ostensibly, the reason this ban is in place, ironically, is to protect the children and protect their identity and help us go forward, and so that the victims are protected. Unfortunately, what it also does is mask some of the important issues that we should be able to talk about that we're not able to right now. So hopefully we'll be able to work our way through this and hit on those points sometime in the not too distant future.
Thank you very much for helping this family, and for anyone who's considering sending in a GoFundMe. Any amount is helpful, and I
hear you.
I thank you so much.
Thanks, Maureen. Enjoy the rest of your week and your weekend, and Merry Christmas to you. Thank you.
Merry Christmas.
Bye.
Bye.
Wow. They walk among us, Kevin. They walk among us. There's our multi-million-dollar set, ladies and gentlemen, here at 149 St. Paul Street, Fiddler's Poorhouse. Thank you, everybody here, for letting us get in your way every couple of weeks and have done so over the course of the last year. And it'll continue as we make a new trip around the sun. Starting January 1st, we will be here with our first episode of Season 7 of Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. We are brought to you by Grantham Home Hardware, supported by Niagara Parks, Vera Wellness, ACE Alignment, Virgin Insurance Group, and Mac Outpost. Thank you very much for being here. Kevin Jack, ladies and gentlemen of WeeStream.
Howdy, Lee. Later in the program, I want to talk a little bit about some WeeStream work and some collabs that you and I actually worked on. We've done a couple of parades over the last couple of weeks. If you were able to watch either the West Lincoln or the Grimsby Santa Claus Parade as it was broadcast here on Niagara 411 or on your phone or on YouTube or whatever, that was the work of WeeStream, and we actually brought in Lee to help MC the one in Smithville or West Lincoln. So I want to share...
It was fun.
I want to share segments of that. Lee, I do want to let you know, we can get to that in a couple of minutes, but our interview coming up just after 1 o'clock with Dakota's brother, Matt. Mm-hmm. Matt reached out to us while the show was airing, letting us know that the NRP did, in fact, get in contact with Dakota late last night.
Wonderful.
So at least there's contact. For people that don't know the context, 33-year-old Dakota had been missing since Friday in downtown St. Catharines. The family was desperately looking to make contact with her just to let them know that she was safe.
Yeah.
And then they'll move forward from there. So at least the family now has that resolve, knowing that they made contact with her and she is safe, and the rest, well, we'll leave in their hands.
Yeah, great.
But no reason to have Matt on, and that's absolutely good news.
Absolutely. Wonderful. And thanks, Matt, for getting in touch with us to bring us up to date so that we could bring everybody else up to date. Dakota is safe and sound, and that's great.
Absolutely.
Great to hear. Which of course is the crux of why we were going to have Matt on in the first place. So
now, this next interview, Lee, is something that I just found out on Reddit and saw that this guy, I think is a student, we'll find out from Sakib here in a minute. Guy went out of his way and he said, you know what? You ever had problems crossing the canal and the bridge statuses and this and that? And said, you know what? The current apps that are out there simply aren't good enough. So I don't necessarily know why he did it. We'll find out, but I'll let you take it from here, Lee.
Yeah. You might be familiar with, of course, there is a thing on the FM band. What is it? Is it 93.1?
Oh, gosh, yeah.
Something
The bridge
like that?
status updates. Yeah, there's some radio station.
Yeah. The St. Lawrence Seaway has this FM frequency in your car, and you can tune it, and it'll give you the status of the various bridges, like Lock 1, which is Lakeshore, all the way through to Queenston Street and beyond. But it's not really an interactive, in the moment kind of thing. It's a good enough service, and it gives you a general impression of what's happening on the canal, and you can kind of make your way through this. But what's happened here is Sakib, and I hope I'm pronouncing the last name right. He'll correct me. I hope if I'm wrong. Maminkan, that's how I would say it, just from the way it's spelled. But who knows? Sakib will let us know what it is. Has developed a whole new approach, a whole new interactive approach. Sakib, first of all, am I saying your first name right?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, perfect. Yeah. So my name is Sakib Khan.
And the last name?
His name is Khan.
Maminkan?
Yeah, Momin's my middle name, and last name is Khan.
Gotcha.
You know what? I'll fix that now.
Okay. So we had our graphic incorrect. Welcome to live television. Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Hey, glad to have you. So give us a little bit background. Who are you? What do you do? Where'd you come from?
Yeah, so my name is Sakib, and I grew up in St. Catharines for I moved here in 2014 and been living here for a long time.
Okay.
I went to high school here at Lower Seacord, and after that, I'm currently here at McMaster studying software engineering, right? So I really started this project during the summer because I had to commute to work, and just worrying about these bridge delays was very frustrating. And all throughout high school, I know lots of my friends were late to class because of the bridges, we're late to practices because of the bridges, right? And
the current alternatives in general, I felt like were a little like difficult to understand, especially for like people who don't know the bridge names, like the road names, right?
Right.
So I just want to make something more interactive, and so like help users see like what bridges are open closest to them. But
Yeah.
yeah, like I for sure want to talk more about it, like the little things about it. But yeah,
Okay, so how does your app work?
yeah. So basically, I'm like scraping like like current like bridge information from other websites. I'm getting this information. I'm basically storing it into my own like backend, and from there, I'm basically making like my own like front end and like displaying this information using like my own API and a Google Map API. So it's like basically incorporating those two and it's like and making like so like users can see what bridges are open based on like the color of the marker.
So how do we use it? What do we do to maximize our experience with your app?
Yeah, so all you gotta do is just go on the website www.bridgestatus.ca and it'll show you your live location and the bridges that are open near you. So like I think like for me like that was very helpful because when I open the app or just the website, I can just see like oh this bridge like near me is open. I can just take this one rather than just taking a gamble and taking the other bridge that I always take. You know.
So
And
how
that
did
was
you
that
how did
was
you do this? Like, you must write code or like no programming or whatever. How did you make this happen?
Yeah, it took a little bit of like research and time. But first thing I wanted to like really focus on was just learning how to like getting the information. Like I think that was the main part of like creating my own like storage of information. And the way I did this was just by learning how to scrape websites and like get like create my own backend. It was a lot of like software like components to it,
Yeah.
but yeah, I just really had to learn how to code it, and then before this, I learned a lot about like website building and like how like I can incorporate like APIs into my website, and
Yeah.
it's just like a whole like it's a lot it is a lot of coding, but yeah, just understanding like the software components was very important. And by then, I was able to mesh it together and just create something that was help users actually use it.
So after you've developed this, and it's pretty incredible. Has it has
Thank
it
you.
has it saved you some time?
Yeah, for sure. I let's go. Personally, I always used to like take the bridge. I'm pretty sure it's near the Outlet Mall. You see, a guy like me, I don't remember the roads that well, but yeah. So I just look at the map and usually I take a gamble and skip the Glendale Bridge and usually go to the next one. But now whenever I have the app, I can just see like okay that bridge is gonna be raising soon. It would just be better for me just take this Glendale Bridge even though it might be a little bit longer, but like I wouldn't have to wait for a bridge to like close or raise, you know?
Yeah, it's amazing. Because I mean, you have to calculate in your own mind what your travel time is
Exactly.
between
Yeah.
these places because that situation can change. Pardon me, we're talking about water. It's a fluid situation, right?
Yeah,
Yes,
but
exactly.
Saqib, you hit on something. I mean, right on the fact, anybody new to the Niagara region, without the visual of the map, I mean, where the heck is the Homer Bridge? Where's the
Exactly,
Allenberg
yeah.
Bridge? And when you just see it on text there, you know, okay, Main Street Bridge, and like you don't know where this
Yeah.
stuff is. You know, you got a
Exactly.
triple reference in your mind and almost draw the map
Right.
in your head to figure out where to go. And Saqib's done this. Now, right now, Saqib, it's a website. How big of a step is this to make it into an app? And then also, can you touch on? I know you just kind of launched this. You don't have any budget or anything like that. So, have you seen
Yeah.
any uptake in it? Are people using it?
Yeah, okay, so a couple of things. I'm really glad that you guys appreciate this like the work I put in.
Yeah.
But first things, for deploying the app, I've had lots of like feedback and lots of users actually using it over like from the time I posted on Reddit. I'm glad like got you guys' attention, but I've had over 1,000 like people use it, which is insane because like it's just a personal project that I want to create to help my community and like actually seeing it being used by people. It's like it's really amazing to see, and I hope a lot more people are able to see it after listening about it today.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think altogether it is like insane to me like how much like it actually like helps people, you know, like and I'm just really able to like because the current websites that I used when I like was trying to like avoid these bridge delays, it was just very hard to like figure out like what bridge is open, you know, even like the radio and like just like you have to look at like the road names and stuff and I just felt like it was not as intuitive and like you know, I feel like what I made is a lot easier for users, especially new users in the St. Catharines
Yeah,
area.
to go back to what Kevin was saying and you were earlier, is the fact that, okay, we got Queenston, we got Homer, we got this, we got Lakeshore, we got whatever, but where am I in my juxtaposition to all these places? But with this app, you can see where you are and where the bridges are. So, and especially now that we have these navigation systems in so many of the vehicles that are on the road,
Exactly, yeah.
you can do this in real time, and you can see where you are and make your judgment from there. It's just, have you had any feedback from like the Seaway system or the canal operators or anything like that on this?
I haven't received any information from them, or haven't heard back from them personally, but like I'd love to like continue working with be like actually have the chance to work with them. That would really be amazing. But yeah, like for the website right now, like it has just been like a couple of months that I like actually deployed it, like using my own like domain name, such as like bridgestats.ca. Because before I just had like I had the website up, but like I didn't really publish it because I was still fixing it up and stuff. But yeah, I really hope to like get in touch with like the Seaway, like the Seaway company, because I had a fellow like Hamilton citizen, right? He was talking about the Burlington Bridge and like how if he was able to see like the lift canal status of that, it would help him tremendously. And that's something I really want to like help people like avoid, right? Like this delay,
Right.
because they either take like the highway like bridge or the lift bridge, and so he was just saying like if you're able to figure that out, that would be great. And so yeah, I like hopefully I can get in contact with someone who can show me like where I can get this information from.
It just seems like this is the tip of a very large iceberg.
Exactly, yeah.
That could be there, and at some point in time, Saqib, something that you might be able to monetize
I heard,
to your credit. This is something that's considering what our commuter system is like in southern Ontario. This is something that's very, very valuable, because traffic and commuterism, commuters are only going to get larger and more complicated over time. Mm-hmm. So this is something that, you know, could be a big deal for you.
Yeah, let's go. Right, yeah, I've heard about that, and like I just hope to like first like obviously like help my community, like I'm not as worried about the monetization right now, and just really want to make sure the community like gets like something that they need, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, like for sure, like in the future I might look into that, but right now it's just a personal project, and like order to like help me build my own career and just like help me learn more about like how what I can do to like the skills I have, that and what I can do with myself to actually help my community, you know.
Yeah, Saqib, I was going to ask, Lee was mentioning, you know, collaboration with the Seaway. If you heard from them, somebody suggested to me, and what would be really cool is if you could actually map out all the ships on there, so we knew where the ships were and where they were coming, because sometimes, you know if it's going northbound, okay, well, I better not skip by the Glendale and head up to the Homer, because it's going to hit that bridge next. I should go south. And I know that there's, so maybe you can scrape some information off of other websites and include that. I'm just spitballing ideas, but we're very thankful for you, because you're running on a budget of zero, I think, right? So
yeah. No, that's a really good idea. I actually really appreciate that. Yeah, like I love getting feedback. I've already implemented some feedback from like other users across Reddit. Like for example, like some people want to be able to see like the bridge directly by like from like a list, and so I implemented that. So I love hearing any feedback that I get. Like I for sure will try to implement that. You know?
I'm pretty sure that there are websites out there for people that are into ships and boating and
yes, I've seen that. Yeah.
These things can be tracked. There are websites that follow ships and whatnot all through the Great Lakes system. I guess it's sort of like bringing all of this information together in one spot, and it sounds like you're the guy that might be able to do that.
Thank you. Yeah. Honestly, I'll look more into it after my exams.
Okay. Well, good luck with the exams. Thanks for being here. Congratulations on a great idea, and thanks for doing it. It'll help us all out.
Thank you for having me. Yeah.
Thanks, man.
I hope everyone can see the website. It's www.bridgestats.ca. But yeah, thank you guys.
Bridgestats.ca. We got it. Thanks, Saqib. Wow, that is so cool, Kevin. Technology. I mean, the Seaway has had their information sources for quite some time, but this is just taking the basic information and catapulting it into modern day technology. Hi, everybody. Thanks for being here at Fiddler's Poorhouse and joining us on Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry, brought to you by Grantham Home Hardware, locally owned, genuinely Canadian, and obviously a place to stop by and do some Christmas shopping for the handy person on your list. Jake and Rob, thank you very much for continuing your support, joining us as a keynote sponsor in the latter part of 2025. And it looks like we're going to be continuing into the new year for another trip around the sun. And we thank you guys for being here very, very much. The Niagara Parks Commission came on also in the latter quarter, I guess, of 2025 as a sponsor, and there's no more perfect fit for our program than the Niagara Parks Commission, because we are all about Niagara. That's why the whole thing was started in the first place, is to unite Niagarans with Niagarans about all things Niagara, and the parks is an absolutely perfect fit. So many attractions that are worthwhile seeing over the course of the year. A lot of them are summer attractions, but right now we have the Festival of Lights that is underway all over Niagara, down through Queen Victoria Park and Dufferin Islands and places beyond, as well as the Niagara Takes Flight, the new attraction that opened about a month and a half or 2 months ago. It is a year-round attraction and something that people are just raving about. So check out Niagara Takes Flight. Thank you, the parks, for being here. Vera Wellness, Mika Matthews is the founder and head psychotherapist at Vera Wellness, and we were talking earlier about the varied emotional and psychological needs that are here in our society, and Vera Wellness is there to address those. When life feels heavy, Vera Wellness helps you find your way back to yourself, and there is no better destination than finding your way back to yourself. Ace Alignment, Darren and Matt over on North Street, just off Geneva Street in St. Catharines, behind the police station. For whatever ails your vehicle or whatever advice you might need, wheel alignments, brake suspension, front end repair, MTO inspections, whatever the need, Ace Alignment is there. So also thank you to Janice Ulpretty for her support. Owner-operator, her family's been running Ace Alignment for a long time. Happy holidays to you. Merry Christmas, Janice, to you and your family. Verge Insurance Group, Mark Shirk and the gang for life, auto, home, whatever you need as far as an insurance coverage or protection is concerned. They're the brokers to deal with over on Ontario Street. Been in business since 1953. And we'll have an opportunity to talk more about the big deal they've got coming up in January. It's going to be really, really cool. The Verge Insurance Group sponsored and planned pickleball tournament is coming up in the new year. So stay tuned here for more information on that from Verge Insurance. And our gang at Mac Outpost, Sean the owner, Derek the head tech, and all the staff at Mac Outpost for everything Mac in Niagara, Westlake Plaza, 353 Lake Street, out in the north end. It's a Tim Hortons Dollar Tree Plaza. They're in there. On the other side is Don's Lighting. You know the area. It's north end, St. Catharines, Scott, Lake Street to Linwell, like in that pocket of geography in St. Catharines. And it's not just sales. It's not just going in to buy hardware. It's support on the software side and consultations and whatever questions you might have. If you live in the Appleverse, that's the place to go. Also, I want to thank Beau Chapeau. I pop in every now and then to Kevin Neufeld's place on Queen Street in downtown Niagara-on-the-Lake and pick up some new headgear from time to time. And boy, this is a great time of year to be in Niagara-on-the-Lake. If you want to feel like Christmas, pop into Niagara-on-the-Lake, as well as the other downtown areas of Niagara for sure, and Welland and Fort Erie and Port Colborne and Niagara Falls and St. Catharines. But Niagara-on-the-Lake has this sort of special boutique feel to it. And no better store to pop in and have a look than right downtown at Beau Chapeau. For whatever your head requires.
Lee?
Yes?
Coming up here before the end of the program.
Yes?
I actually have some confirmation. I'm just waiting to see if I can go public with it. about something that's occurring in minor sports right here in the Garden City that is, to me, absolutely appalling. And I think is going to...
Here, I thought you were taking me in a positive direction.
No, it's going to create some ripples through St. Catharines and beyond.
All right, what's going on?
Well, I'll get to that in a couple of minutes. I'm waiting for an email back to see if I can actually go forward with it. I think I'm going to go anyway.
Okay.
But in the interim, I want to talk about a couple of little things that make big differences. And we can start here with Start Me Up Niagara. I thought this was really cool as we approach the holidays.
Right.
They're simply looking for people to carve turkeys. I didn't know it was a skill, but they need help. So
of course it's a skill. My dad was a butcher. Not just anybody can carve a turkey, you know.
I know I can't.
I know the concept. I don't always do it well, but I know the concept. But here we go. I saw this link. Yeah, it's kind of cool. Start Me Up Niagara put this post up, and they're calling all carvers. We're looking for a butcher or anyone with solid turkey carving skills to help us prepare our turkeys for our holiday meals. They're looking for you to be available on Tuesday, December the 23rd, 11 o'clock in the morning at Start Me Up Niagara at the Drop-In Resource Center. If you or someone you know has the expertise and a bit of time to give, we'd be so grateful. Your help will make a big difference in ensuring our community enjoys a warm holiday meal. So if you're interested, check him out at volunteer at Start Me Up Niagara, all one word is in lowercase, startmeupniagara.ca. Volunteer at startmeupniagara.ca. And that's kind of a cool thing to do, because I remember, Kevin, it was a couple of years ago, some friends of mine and I went out to a restaurant that was open on Christmas Day, and they had a part of their buffet offerings, etc., was a traditional Christmas dinner with turkey and whatnot. But the fellow... with all due respect, it was kind of funny. The fellow behind the carvery, where the bird was just reaching in and ripping out hunks of meat and putting them on plates. It was a very very non-traditional presentation of turkey. So I can understand Start Me Up saying, "Hey, we don't want just like handfuls of meat. We just want somebody that is going to have a nice presentation." And there's nothing nicer than a nice slice or two of turkey on your plate. Not always easy to do that.
And you talk about simple gestures. I mean, there's a simple one, right? You didn't even know you had a skill set to volunteer, but people need carvers.
Who knew it was in demand?
And here's somebody that just made an offer, and it seems like the smallest thing, but apparently it goes a long way, so much so that they sent this in to Nick. And this one kind of touched me because it's things that I think kind people do day in, day out.
Yeah, these are the things that come through Niagara 411 that sort of, as we used to say in the old days, warm the cockles of your heart. I don't know what a cockle is, but apparently it warms it up. I'm wondering if you can help me share a short message. I was doing some mild shopping. What is mild shopping?
I know. I wondered the same thing.
I guess it's not heavy work. It's just easy stuff. I was doing some mild shopping with my son at Food Basics on Ontario Street in Welland this evening, and while I was in line to check out, I must have accidentally opened the blackberries I was holding. Oh, that's not hard. That's easy to do. Those things can pop open. And a few scattered across the floor. During that time, a young man offered to try and help, but I declined. Well, the truth is, I needed the help. I just wanted to say thank you to that person for trying. These last few years have been really rough for my son and I, and men overall have become more intimidating to acknowledge again. Your efforts did not go unnoticed, and I hope you continue to find the kindness within yourself to offer that same help to myself and others again. One day you won't be so scary anymore. Isn't that interesting that someone would acknowledge the fact that they reacted in a way that was perhaps not rational at the time, but if you have some sort of, whether it be called a phobia or a negative reaction to some type, whether it's dogs or men or whatever it is, that you can sometimes react in a way that, upon later reflection, you think, well, maybe I should have not reacted that way. And this person recognized that and posted that. And I think it's something that can help us all reflect just a little bit more on how we react when somebody approaches us to either help or whatever. But yeah, interesting. Kevin, I want to mention again something that you alluded to earlier. Kevin, Jack, and Brandon Scram formed this WeeStream company a number of years ago, a decade ago or so. It seems like much more recent, but a lot of time passes. Time moves quickly, and their company has turned into what I refer to, and I think I'm not too far off the mark, Canada's premier streaming company. And streaming takes in, I realize, a very wide stream of references. And a couple of the things that we did recently, Kevin and Brandon and the company do Niagara region municipality city councils, sporting events, tournaments all over the place. A Canadian volleyball group, they do that every year, and there's all kinds of stuff. But one of the things that they do extremely well are Santa Claus parades. When Santa Claus visits our communities, they're there to cover it. And this is one that I had the pleasure and honor
more about that later.
of being a part of, the West Lincoln Santa Claus Parade,
West
a couple
Lincoln
Saturdays
Santa
ago.
Claus Parade from the West Lincoln Fire groups.
Yeah, here we'll
Wow,
skip
whose
ahead
voice is
here.
that?
There.
Yeah.
Want to get some of these? Oh, that was nice.
So that they do.
Want to get some of these bands in here. The bands are really cool.
Group, local industry. Thank you so much.
There you go. There's Sam Oosterhoff.
Horses are very quaintly decorated.
Oh, look
Your
at!
mother
I love.
Santa Claus
When I was a
horns?
kid, I
Wow,
loved
that's
horses.
amazing.
Ridgedale Equestrian there, yeah. That's funny.
Oh, it's a cool bus from Niagara.
The horse is
Transit.
saying, "Please get these stupid ears off me."
Kids having fun.
It was cool,
here you
but you
go.
know what? It was a nice night.
Company, ladies and gentlemen.
There's some dancers.
Look at this.
Oh, they're definitely in step, aren't
They got the whole choreography going thing, yeah.
Wow.
Nice work.
This is the dance company. They've rehearsed this. If you want to,
Kevin, you guys did.
with your kids.
You and Brennan and Bruce, you guys did a great job.
Well, thank you very much, Lee.
Really did a fabulous job on that.
Yeah, and as did you and Lyle there as well, former owner of the Grimsby Peach Kings. And
Yeah,
then,
Lyle was great.
That was a couple weekends ago, and then just this past Saturday, we were back out in Grimsby, and we've been doing their parade since I think 2018.
Yeah,
So
they were sort
long-standing
of the
relationship there.
inaugural parade for you guys, weren't they?
Absolutely. And if anybody's ever wondering, both of those parade streams and the recorded videos have more than 40,000 views across Facebook and YouTube. So if you're in a municipality that does not stream, that's all you need to hear right there. Because, you know, what do you get? You get maybe on a good year, 5,000 people lining the streets, which is a great turnout. It's a great, but not everybody can get there in person. And know what else, Lee? Everybody in the parade goes home and watches the parade.
Of course.
To see how they did.
To see their stuff.
Yeah, see how they did, see how they look.
And one of the things that impacted me is the number of comments while I was watching the parade back myself. The number of comments that were posted on that stream, thanking West Lincoln for streaming that parade because they were unable to, or their relatives were unable to, or their parents were unable to actually be there on the street, because not everybody can show up on the street, although it was well attended. When you take the maybe 500-600 people, maybe 1,000 even, that were out on the street, and then you extrapolate that to the 40 or 50,000 that watched the parade after the fact. I saw comments from people that were in New Brunswick and Nova Scotia and Quebec that were natives of Niagara and West Lincoln in particular, or Smithville, that said, "Hey, thanks. It was nice to feel like I was coming home. I have family in New Brunswick watching the live stream." There's one right there. Loved the parade. It was so nice to watch it from home. It was amazing for everyone to decide to do live stream. Amazing work, Township of West Lincoln. And this,
It's everywhere. Thanks for Nova Scotia.
yeah, the impact of being
parade.
able to reach out like that.
Thanks for the live stream.
And-
Thanks for showing the parade.
And the other thing, I realize this sounds like just me patting people on the back, and I guess I am. But when it comes to events, any kind of event, people have busy lives today, as you can no doubt attest to. It comes as no surprise that people are busy and they have all kinds of things that demand their time. When you are planning an event, and you want people to attend it, irrespective of what it could be a ribbon cutting ceremony, it could be the opening of your store, it could be some just some small event that your service club is putting on that you'd like people to know about. The people that attend, all well and good. But when you say, hey, I want to throw this out there for everybody to have access to, regardless of where they are, whether they're in their car, or at their home, or in their office, or wherever, on vacation, doesn't matter, you stream that event, and it increases your reach, it increases your impact geometrically beyond anything you could ever hope to achieve. It's like throwing a party and not inviting people to come. If you throw a party, you might as well invite people to check in and attend. Kev, again, I wish you and Brandon and all the folks that work with WeeStream a wonderful holiday season, and to you and your families, because this is the last chance I have a chance to do that in public here in Niagara. You guys do fabulous work, and we wish you all the best in 2026.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lee. So I want to get to something here, Lee, that we didn't really get a chance to talk about before going on the air, and a lot of it is developing now. And I'll just kind of take the lead on this one. Because,
this is our minor sports story?
Yeah, it absolutely disgusts me.
Because I've been waiting for you to get here, and I want to hear this.
So, as you know, Lee, I still enjoy playing hockey, played a lot of hockey growing up, and before I had kids, I volunteered my time to help coach in minor hockey here in Niagara.
Sure.
And I volunteer coach for Niagara North for 4.5 seasons, almost 5 years, doing it all, right? Tournaments, away games, 5:30 a.m. practices, doing the whole thing absolutely of the kindness of my heart, because somebody did it for me when I was growing up, along with the entire non-parent coaching staff that I coached with.
Gotcha.
And it was fantastic. And in fact, so much so now that Brandon, my partner at WeeStream, their goalie coach, is a kid that we coached. So he brought up his name. I said, oh my God. And I'm hoping, in a very small way, and his name's Zach Bowman, great guy, and played in the OHL. And I'm hoping that, in a little bit of his mind, he can say, you know what? Somebody did it for me growing up. I have the skill set. I have the availability. Let me give back to my community.
Okay.
And so he is.
So what's going on?
So Garden City Minor Hockey, which oversees there's a number of different minor hockey associations.
Sure, yeah.
But I saw a post this morning, and I did a little bit of research. And here, let me throw it up here. Garden City Minor Hockey, and Lee, I'm just going to take you off the screen. But
that's
feel free
fine.
to comment.
Okay.
Garden City Minor Hockey, as I understand it, their executive board just voted to pay themselves. The executive of Garden City Minor Hockey, without really full disclosure, voted to pay themselves.
Oh.
And it's an honorarium, a significant amount of money as far as I'm concerned.
How
And
much?
some of the numbers that I'm seeing is for some of the executive board members, $1,500.
Okay.
These-
For how, per season?
That's my understanding. Now, again, I don't have it all. I'm getting little bits of information. I did reach out to an executive that did write back and confirm that it is $1,500 for his position. I believe the president and some of the other people on the executive are getting more money. This is absolutely disgusting. It begins to erode on the very concept
whole
of minor
concept of
sports.
it, yes.
If the executive want money, then the coaches should damn well get some money. Because I'll tell you, executive, as much as you think you guys are busy, those coaches are volunteering hours and hours and hours. It's a volunteer position, and if you want to get paid, there's the door. You volunteered your time, you knew what you were getting into, and you can leave at any time. See, that's the caveat here. You could leave at any time.
Yeah.
If it's too much of your time and you feel that you need to get compensated
can you leave
monetarily, then go find a part-time job.
Can you leave at any time before, during, or after you've got your $1,500?
I don't know, right? What exactly? What's tied to it? And I think $1,500 is the starting point. So let's just look here, and I don't mind doing this. I mean, there you go. Bruce Lawrence is your president. Matt Davies is your vice president, RD. I know RD. I cannot believe that RD would be part of a vote
To be paid.
to be paid. Now, all of these people obviously didn't vote for it. In fact, I know being outed is this one, Matt Greenway. Matt Greenway out there in socials. And again, I don't have full confirmation on this, but it's my understanding that he took his money and divided it amongst 3 teams so that they could use it to offset tournament registration. That's absolutely where money should be going. This is money that families are paying for minor sports, and it should not be to compensate volunteer positions at the board level.
That was
absolutely not.
That was my other question, is the fact that the cost of playing any minor sport, be it hockey, baseball, whatever it is, soccer, those costs, in my humble opinion, over the years, were supposed to be used and ostensibly used to be able to fund what children needed to be able to play the sports, equipment and officiating and, those kinds of things that go on, even rink rental and maintenance and things of that nature that help these minor sports teams continue to exist, not to pay somebody to adjudicate the administration.
Yeah, it seems like they did it not covertly, because I'm sure they would defend themselves as saying that, hey, all of our meetings are open to the public, but I didn't see the big press release. I had to learn it on Facebook by somebody who kind of had an inside info to say, hey, by the way, they didn't really let everybody know, but some of the fees that you're paying this year are now going towards compensating the board of executives.
Was there a newsletter sent out to the parents of people that are enrolled? Oh, by the way, your
absolutely disgustingly.
Yeah,
absolutely. I'm disgusted by each and every one of them that would have possibly. And you know what? Step up like Matt did and say, hey, you know what? If you don't want it, give it back to the kids. I'll tell you,
but that's
Lee,
not the point.
As a company, WeeStreem, we have been approached many, many times over the years.
I was going to go here too.
To stream minor sports.
Yeah.
And our response always has been, I do not want any money from minor sports coming into WeeStream. There's no way. I cannot sit there and get paid to stream a game knowing that coach, that trainer, that assistant coach, the board of executives, all these people are in volunteer positions. Any money you pay me should go into more ice time, more training, more tournaments for the kids, for the athletes, for youth sports. So our company has taken a stand and said, we will not accept money from minor hockey because this should go back to the kids. And
all of those businesses that sponsor teams, for example. There's a sign up here at Fiddler's Poorhouse, and Fiddler's Poorhouse
supports
numerous sports teams throughout Niagara, and there's a sign up right down the hall, I can see it from here, that says, we sponsor sport teams, meaning minor, minor volunteer, sports teams of various leagues and stripes in Niagara, and as do WeeStream and dozens and dozens and dozens of others.
WeeStream supports minor hockey. We've got our name on the back of Brandon's son Nathan, on the back of his jersey.
So this is going to give pause, this concept that Kevin's just talking about right now of paying administrators of minor hockey here in Niagara. It is going to give pause to any and every business or citizen that might think of sponsoring any minor sports, minor hockey team here in Niagara, because you don't know now where your money's going.
Yeah. It's a volunteer position, Lee, and you can leave anytime. That's the whole point, right? You can leave at any time. If you feel that it's too demanding of your time, well, there's the door. We'll find somebody else to do the job.
I think this is something that has to be truly looked at and reversed. It doesn't.
As somebody that volunteered their time for 5 years, I cannot believe it. I was a non-parent coach. I woke up at 5 a.m. to go help other kids, and I was happy to do so. And you know what? I developed relationships. I gave back to the community, and that's all the reward that I ever needed. This disgusts me. Absolutely. Anyway, Lee, I'm going to leave it there. I got to get the outside camera set up. So I'll let you wrap up the show, but I got to calm down.
All right. Yeah. Yes, you do. But no, it's a righteous position to hold, and I'm glad that Kevin brought that up, because the whole concept does start to use Kevin's word. The whole concept of minor sports and volunteerism and community involvement. And working with kids and promoting team sports and atmosphere and relationships and leadership skills and all of those other things that come with being a part of a minor sport environment, irrespective of whether you think somebody's going to go play in the NHL or the Major League Baseball team or play in the World Cup or whatever the hell it is. 99.99999% of children that play sports ever achieve those kinds of professional sports levels or Olympic athletes or whatever it is, which is really at the beginning not the point. It's about participation and leadership and teamwork and all of those things that we learn as young people being part of organizations like that. And when it starts being monetized, when it starts being what's in it for me situation, the WIFM, what's in it for me situation, when it starts to slide into that arena, pardon the pun, now we have a whole different dynamic taking place, and it's wrong. It's just totally, totally wrong. So a bit of a passionate way to end this program, the final one of 2025. Our next show, mark it on your calendar, because you're going to be sitting around maybe nursing a bit of a headache, maybe just trying to figure out what to do with your day. January the 1st is a Thursday, New Year's Day. We're going to be right here at Fiddler's Poorhouse, and we're going to be doing Season 7, Episode 1 on January the 1st. So this is the last show of 2025, so I want to wish you all a very, very Merry Christmas. Thank all of our sponsors again. Grantham Home Hardware, Niagara Parks, Vera Wellness, Ace Alignment, Verge Insurance Group, Mac Outpost, Dave Mukparian and his wonderful staff here at Fiddler's Poorhouse. Kevin Jack, it's always an honor and a pleasure to work with you guys. And I'm happy that we're still on the right side of the grass and able to do this as we get ready to make another trip around the sun. We have Other Wives, our musical act. They're a punk rock band out of Welland. They're going to play us off the stage with a little ditty called Relapse. This is Niagara 411 Live with Lee Sterry. That would be me, and I thank you all for your support of my services over the year as well. It's been great. Y'all have a good day now, you hear? Bye.